What is up, guys? This is going to be the 10th video in the Java programming series. In this video, we are going to cover the introduction to methods, which are a pretty awesome thing in programming. So first, I'm just going to create a new project. I'm just going to create a default project for pretty much all the stuff I'm going to do for most of the rest of the tutorials. I'm just going to call it Crash Course Code. I'm going to hit finish. And so now I just have this new source file. I'm going to create new class. I'm going to call this main, and that's what I want here. So to get started, I'm going to put public static void main string bracket args, and that creates our main method, as we've done a couple times before. So a method is, to get started with methods, a method is something, it's like a block of code that you can run using a selector, something called a selector, and that's basically just going to be the name for the method. So let's say we want to print out system out of println. This is going to be some paragraph that I'm typing out. Let's say we want to print that out to the console. Now let's say we want to print that out again. Well, I don't really want to copy this whole junk. That's kind of messy. I would have to kind of type all this out again, or I could copy and paste or something like that. But if there were a more concise way for me to run this, that would be pretty cool. And let's say actually that we have 2 lines, and let's say we want to run this too. So now let's say we want to run these over and over again or something like that. So I could print them out again, and we could run this, and it would run them, those 6 lines just like that, and it would get what we want, but this isn't that pretty. When you do program, it's good to, you want to just be able to write something once, and then be able to call those lines of code via a selector, so you don't have to write a ton of code over and over. It makes the code a lot more manageable, and that's what methods are good for. So I'm going to create a method here. So I'm going to go past this bracket here after this main function, and I'm going to say public static void print message. And this right here is the selector. This can be anything you want. You can name it whatever you want. Put these parentheses here to let the computer know that it is a method. And this public static void I will cover more in the future. I kind of covered it in one of the first 2 videos, but I'm sure it was super confusing. So don't worry too much about that. So now we have the kind of the stub for our print message function. So we are going to now copy this out. We're going to paste it in there. So now we can take this out. And now let's see if we run this program, what happens. You see, nothing is actually printing out to our console here. So even though we have this typed in to our kind of code here, it's not going to print this out until we call the print message function. So to call the print message function, we go into our main method and we say print message. And just like that, you're calling a function. So if you run this, you're going to see those 2 lines of code are now run within our console. So we are declaring these methods outside the main function. You can declare them after the main method and still be able to access them in your main function. So that's something that's pretty cool about that. That's going to be just a basic introduction to methods. You can have multiple methods. So I can create another one, void print other message. And this guy can print me out something else. Hey, capitalized. So now let's say I want to print other message. So I want to print this out to the console. I can call that method. You see it calls out there. Then I can also do print message. And again, and you see that you just have to type in one little line here to print out these 2 lines of input. And that doesn't seem very significant now, but when you get into really complex programs which have methods that are hundreds of lines long or tens of lines long, this really helps in organizing your code. So in the next tutorial, we're actually going to use something called arguments, which are the things you put within these parentheses. It's a way of kind of working with numbers or working with strings and kind of manipulating those things that you pass into them. So if that didn't make sense, don't worry about it. That's going to be the intro to methods. I will see you guys in the next video.